Coming to you from one of the most resourceful, independent, and badass generations of all time. Welcome to the Gen X Brothers Podcast.
But it does remind me, you know, talking about like 80s metal and shit. There's a band that I started listening to a few years ago called Cobra Spell.
Oh, yeah, okay.
There's this chick, Sonia Anubis, if I'm saying that right. She's a guitar player on Instagram. And then that's how I started listening to her, because she would, do these shredding videos, which was really cool. And then I found that she was in the band. It was the weirdest thing. Their first album, I think it was called Love Venom. Okay. And I was working on a project in the garage, right? And I put it on Spotify. I put it on play, and then it was only 4. I didn't know there was only 4 songs. I said, well, let me check out the album. I'll put it on, and I put them on. And I was in the garage. I was in the garage working for at least 2.5, maybe 3 hours. And that album was on repeat the whole time, and I didn't even fucking notice it. That's how good the album was. It kept registering in my head, and most of the time I would get sick about, okay, I need to change the fucking album at this point. I'm sick of that song. I'm sick of this. But with them, it's just the right fucking element of 80s metal. And it just fucking resonated with me. And I love that album. And they just came out with a new album. I think it's called Addicted to the Night. And I thought it'd be cool if maybe you and I could kind of react. They have a new music video out, and we could do a reaction to the new video and the new song. And again, it's something with this band that they are. I think they're from Sweden, or I can't remember what country they're from.
If they're from Sweden, I wouldn't be surprised that they're very good.
They're from some Scandinavian country. I don't know.
Yeah,
but I can't remember exactly. You know me. I don't like to do research on the shit I talk about.
I used to think it was only gay people that could write good songs, and now it's like it's people from Sweden.
Not only do I not like to flip records, I don't like to do research on the shit that I talk about, because I'm fucking lazy as shit.
Yeah.
So.
Google's not your friend.
No, Google's my enemy, the motherfucker.
Google's your enemy. Yeah, so I haven't heard this band, Cobra Spell. You were telling me about them, and as I was mentioning before we started the show, is like I come across them in my feed, but it was one of those bands that I'll click on them later because the little JPEG or the thumbnail looked interesting, and again, I thought it was like a female singer, but I guess it's a female guitar player.
Yeah, I thought it was like that first album. I thought it was a female singer too, because I'd never actually seen the other band members other than Sonia. When this new album came out, they have a video out and stuff like, so their presence is more known. I was like, wait a minute, that's a guy.
You know what label they're on? If they're on a label like Napalm or
no, I have no idea. I don't.
Metal, yeah.
Like I said, I don't read the footnotes like you do.
Yeah. So here's the thing. So we're gonna do this reaction, and if I like this band, because that's what I always do. Here's how I test if I'm gonna buy their physical music. I love because I used to love streaming music, and is really convenient. But now I use streaming music to preview if I'm gonna like a band, because that's how I discover a lot of new bands. And I encourage everyone out there to just, if you think rock is dead, then get out from under that rock you're living, because go on YouTube or Spotify or wherever you stream music, and just look at something that looks interesting, like a band's name. That's how I would go by. That band's name looks interesting. Let me click on it and see what it is. Or the artwork of that art album looks interesting. Let me click on it and see what it is. And if you like it, then you might like it. And if I like it enough, I'm going to look for their physical music, because I want to, not only do I think it helps support them, because obviously they don't make shit off streaming, but I definitely want to have their music in my collection. So if I like this after today, this Cobra Spell, I'm going to purchase their record.
And you should too, out there, metalheads.
Yeah.
But I think you guys are going to like it, because I don't know, I really dig them. I really think they're the perfect element, because let me tell you something. When you see this and you hear this, there are so many things that could have gone wrong, and they could have turned out completely cheesy, because they have like the denim jacket, like total 80s, perfect. But everything works perfectly together. The music is perfect. It's well thought out. It's well played. It's well produced. The singer is fucking amazing. The singer reminds me of some old Japanese bands I used to listen to with the falsetto. Like I can't remember the band, but there was this Japanese band that we used to wear kimonos, and the singer kind of reminds me of that because I used to love them back then. Back a few years
so the past
ago.
few years, I've been noticing a lot of bands doing the 80s type of stuff, and I've been kind of separating the two versions of what I come across. I'll come across a band that you could tell they're just doing the 80s thing because they think it's coming back, and even though they're
jumping on a trend,
and they're our age or their younger generation, they're like, they go through Daddy's records and they say, oh, let's be like this because 80s is coming back, so let's sound like the 80s. But then you got the guys who really are influenced by 80s music, just like a lot of us bands in the 80s were influenced by the 70s music, and that's why like their music.
Well, no, because if you go on, because like I said, I've been following Sonia for a long time before she started this band, and everything that she did was like Rats and Motley Crue and Def Leppard and shit. So she's
authentically influenced by that music. So,
seems like it to me anyway. It's not just some bandwagon jumper.
Which is true, because if that's how it comes across to you, then it's most likely real that she's actually being authentic.
Well, let's listen to this Cobra Spell. Let's check it out. Let's see if let's see if Cobra Spell can take us back to the 80s. Because if anyone can tell you, it's us.
Let's see if they inspire me to want to play guitar and join a band. Let's see if I can get under the Cobra Spell.
Let's play this shit.
Definitely got the chops in the book.
Yeah. But you can see they have like that total like leopard print, the jean jacket. It's just like the guitar even. Oh yeah, that note right there, man.
Yeah. This is more like, for me, when it comes to 80s, this would be more like 88 to maybe 90. Like
later 80s.
Yeah, definitely. When Skid Row sort of hit the scene and those kind of bands. Definitely really good sound so far.
But it has like an original sound. Like there's an element to it that sounds like the 80s, but it's also original at the same time.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Like bands that actually, they're influenced by the 80s, but they're doing a modern take on it. They're not just copying the 80s just for the sake of like, let's be an 80s band because that's coming back. You know? They're actually inspired by the 80s, but they're bringing the modern touch to it. And that's what I like about bands that do that. And it's real.
Yeah.
These guys ain't going to be lip syncing or anything. I hope they don't.
Well, you can hear there's like a level of dedication to it. You can tell. Like, look at that guitar playing from Sonia. I mean, the bass player.
They definitely know their shit.
I love that falsetto vocal like that. Like that's what takes me back to like right there.
Yeah.
That's just fucking, to me, it's just like, I love that.
Because there's a lot of bands that could try to do this style, but it just doesn't sound authentic and it sounds dated. Whereas these guys,
it ends up sounding like fucking cheesy, like Spinal Tap, you know?
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like it sounds like a copy version. Whereas this sounds like authentic, like as if I was back in the 80s listening to this, I'd be like, fuck yeah, this is my favorite band, you know? Look at that solo right there.
Yeah.
That's your department, Eric.
Yeah, she definitely got it. Is she playing a BC Rich? Is that
I think so, yeah.
Like an Iron Bird or something?
I think it's her own style, because there's like she has all of her guitars look like that, you know? Yeah,
that's what it looks like. It looks like her own signature play guitar. Yeah, there's a lot of great female guitar players coming on the scene.
I think that's what I like about them too, is that there is a mix of this almost like coming into a new generation of the 80s, a new generation of mix between women and men that they can play together, like an evolution of it. Whereas back then it was an all-male club, you know, women were the objects, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas now they're part of the scene, they're part of the culture.
Yeah.
It's not just, hey, let's go fuck some chicks and get drunk and do drugs and shit. No, this is like, you know.
Yeah.
love that riff.
Yeah.
It sounds like something else, but it's original, you know.
Yeah. It's definitely a take on a kind of familiar riff. That's one of the great things about when you write a song like that is you want to write something that sounds similar to someone, but just enough to where it's your own, you know, and because that's what makes music catchy and that's what makes a hit is there's a certain formula that you follow. And that's why sometimes I'll write a riff that sounds like you've heard it before, but if you can't tell where you've heard it before, then it's not ripping it off. It's basically, it's a variation of something that's going to stick in your head and it's going to be catchy and it's going to be, you know, become a hit if it was marketed right. You know?
Yeah. That's,
I know for a fact that my music would be a total hit if it was marketed right.
That's what they all say, Eric.
That's what they all say, right? Yeah. My mom thinks it's great. My mom thinks I'm.
Hey, your mom is my mom, and she's crazy.
She's no, crazy, right? No, I'm just kidding. All my relatives say I'm a god.
So what'd you think? Now I'm gonna pester you like you did me about Ghost. Do you like them, Eric? Do you like them? Are they your favorite band? Are you gonna buy them all on vinyl?
I'm gonna buy. I'll buy their stuff. I'll buy their if they have a CD or vinyl.
They're really cool, man. I'd love to have them on the show. That'd be. I wonder if they would be up to doing like an acoustic version, like one of those songs like "Break It Down" and shit. Because that guy's such a good singer. It would be cool to hear like almost like a ballad type song come out of him after having this heavy shit. You know, it would kind of like take them to the next level.
Yeah, it definitely makes me want to hear the rest of their music or the rest of their album.
That was Cobra Spell, and the name of the song was The Midnight Hour, which is actually the second song coming out there. The original hit from that album is called Addicted to the Night, which is a really good song too. I love that song, but I thought it'd be cooler to play kind of like the off song since the video just came out a few days ago.
I'm sold.
But they're a good band, you know.
Yeah, they're good. They're definitely solid, good musicians, tight.
Because I hear a lot of bands like that, like rock bands and stuff, and I'm just kind of bored, you know, because I've heard at this point in my life, I'm an old man. I fucking heard everything, you know?
Yeah.
And it takes a lot to get me, for me personally, it takes a lot to get me out of my shell and go, oh, I like new music.
Yeah.
So for them to do this, it took a lot. So Cobra Spell, I love your music, man. Thank you for turning me on to something different and something new and exciting, but still bringing me back to the past. So definitely appreciate that. So
the nostalgia.
And if you guys haven't heard the rest of their albums or the rest of their music, go check it out. It's obviously it's everywhere.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out. Like, the guitar was great. I mean, we have to look more into her guitar playing. She
does a lot of like playthrough videos where she's playing like an Aussie song or something like that, and she's rocking out to it.
One thing I like to do when I discover a band like that, I like to go and check out for some live videos if they play in concerts or whatever.
But of course, you know, with Sonia, you know, she's got that sex appeal, which I don't mean to demean what a great guitar player she is. But I mean, coming from a male perspective, man, she's fucking hot as shit.
Well,
and I just think if I was her age, you know, there's no way I'd be able to get her, you know. Like if I was in Will-O-Wisp, you know, being in my 20s and shit, and, you know, that's the sad part. I'd be like, there's no way I'm getting her.